Gervonta Tank Davis is preparing for his highly anticipated return to the ring on March 1st, where he will face off against Lamont Roach in an All-American showdown. As fans eagerly await the matchup, Davis has stirred up even more excitement with his latest revelation. In a shocking admission, the undefeated champion has hinted that 2025 could be his final year in boxing. At just 30 years old, the idea of him walking away from the sport is a major surprise, especially with potential blockbuster fights still on the table.
Not really trying to get in his personal business. Probably just showing him that, I could do anything, especially in your backyard.
If he does choose to retire, it would be a significant blow to boxing, given his star power and the legacy he continues to build. Despite these speculations, Davis remains fully locked in for his upcoming challenge, showing a level of focus and intensity that even surpasses his preparation for Frank Martin. Davis and Roach share a deep-rooted history, making this fight more than just another title defense. With their connection dating back to their amateur days, there is a competitive edge that adds fuel to this matchup. Unlike some previous opponents, Roach is expected to truly test Davis's power and overall skill set. For Tank, the stakes go beyond just winning. He recently admitted that his biggest fear isn't just losing a fight, but the humiliation that could come with it. He referenced his knockout victory over Frank Martin, whose slow-motion face distortion became a viral meme.
An existence honed by meticulous preparations.
Catch the rim, baby. Catch the rim, baby. Dance with this shit.
That kind of public embarrassment is something Davis refuses to experience himself, which is why he is taking his training to another level. Every aspect of his camp is designed to ensure he steps into the ring at his absolute best, leaving nothing to chance. For those expecting the usual behind-the-scenes training footage, the Gloves Off series has delivered much more. The documentary-style series has given fans an in-depth look at the rivalry, the training, and the mental warfare leading up to the fight. It features intense back-and-forth moments between both fighters, with Roach making bold promises to teach Davis a lesson and Tank firing back with a pledge to break him up well. The series blends hard-hitting narration, exclusive interviews, and highlights of the best moments from both fighters, keeping fans hooked as the fight nears.
Catch the rim, baby. Catch the rim, baby. Dance with this shit.
The first episode, The Incredible Rise of Tank Davis, provides insight into his journey, capturing the mindset that has driven him to greatness. Veteran trainer Barry Hunter, who has worked with top DC fighters such as Lamont and Anthony Peterson,
What goes up, come down, my nigga.
recalled the young Davis at an Adrian Broner fight, crying because he wanted to be on that stage so badly. That hunger and drive have fueled his rise in the sport, and despite criticism from those who claim he carefully selects his opponents to protect his record, his performances in the ring continue to prove his dominance.
He might be 30-0 on paper, but who the nigga for it? So it looked good on paper, but there don't be nobody.
Even with talk of retirement, Davis remains fully committed to handling business against Roach at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn.
Sir, come on, quick. Drop those hips. Nice. Come on, give me that explosion. Rip.
However, longtime fans have noticed some changes in his inner circle, particularly the absence of his father figure trainer, Calvin Ford, from recent press events. While Gloves Off doesn't explore these questions in depth, the footage confirms one thing: Davis is in peak form and mentally locked in, despite the discussions about his potential exit from the sport. Odds makers still favor Davis to emerge victorious, but Roach is not being overlooked. Veteran trainer Barry Hunter believes this could be the most skillful opponent Davis has faced yet. As Davis balances thoughts of retiring from boxing while preparing for another high-stakes battle, the fight continues to build intrigue.
God damn.
recently revealed that Tank's biggest fear isn't losing, it's embarrassment. "I'm not trying to go out and get my butt kicked," he admitted, shedding light on why he approaches fights the way he does. Despite being a heavy hitter, Tank often takes his time in the early rounds, reading his opponents and avoiding unnecessary risks. His cautious approach makes even more sense when considering his rough upbringing, where survival was key. Davis has been putting in the work ahead of his March 1st fight against Lamont Roach, and much of I Hate Losing, his latest documentary-style content, focuses on his intense training. He doubled down on his fear of public humiliation, pointing out how fighters who get knocked out often become viral memes. "You become this meme," he laughed, adding the now iconic phrase, "I ain't got time for that." While Davis's fear of losing fuels his preparation, Roach enters the fight with a different mentality. Lamont Roach is introduced to fans as someone who thrives on the challenge of big fights. The moment a bout with Davis was offered, he didn't hesitate to say yes. His training camp in Plant City, Florida, shows a different side of him, more relaxed and easygoing compared to the ever-serious Davis. Roach even jokes about his opponent. "I think I'm gonna be his bum," he says with a chuckle. But beneath the light-hearted moments, he's laser-focused on his goal. Roach knows he's stepping into the ring against one of the most dangerous fighters in boxing. Davis boasts an unbeaten record of 30 wins, with 28 knockouts, and has left elite fighters like Ryan Garcia and Frank Martin in his wake. But Roach isn't interested in numbers. He plans to neutralize Davis's advantages one step at a time, mentally and physically. He's well aware of Tank's ability to break opponents down before delivering the final blow, and he intends to flip the script by staying composed under pressure. For Roach, this fight is about more than just winning. The biggest motivation for this fight is being able to show that I'm really one of the best fighters in the world, he said.
It'd be like, I don't know, it'd be little clips, like you see how like me and him was talking and then somebody else talked, like his crew. That's what get me up. Like that's what make me like, I always want to prove to somebody that I'm like they not.
And the fact that after I win, my life and my family's lives will change drastically for the good. While Davis remains the favorite, Roach has been pushing himself harder than ever in camp. His sparring partners have been carefully selected to mimic Tank's style, speed, power, and relentless aggression. Roach has been training to control the fight, focusing on movement, defense, and keeping the action in the center of the ring. Beyond the physical battle, there's a mental game at play. Episode 2 of Gloves Off on Prime Video gave fans a deeper look at Davis's mindset. In an interview, he spoke about his struggles over the past 2 years, admitting that his past has left scars. He believes therapy could help him fully heal, hinting that retirement might give him the space to focus on his mental well-being. The fight is being billed as a Baltimore versus DC showdown, though it doesn't have the historic weight of a Puerto Rican versus Mexican rivalry. Regardless, the stakes are high for both men. Davis, ever the showman, is embracing the spotlight in New York, where he has more Instagram followers than in his home state of Maryland. Meanwhile, Roach is staying grounded, finding motivation in his family. A video call with his son during training camp reminded him why this fight matters. "I'm glad he's going to be able to witness this," Roach said, knowing that a victory would be career-defining.
Do you want your legacy to be? If you care. Because some interviews I see you say like, yeah, I don't care about this, I don't care about that. Where you stand on that?
It's just like, it's so up and down in the sport. When I say up and down in the sport, it's like a lot.
For Roach, this fight represents more than just a chance at a major win. It's about legacy, respect, and life-changing opportunities. The Washington, D.C. native has spent his entire career climbing the ranks, and now he's facing his biggest test yet. He knows standing still in front of Davis is a death sentence, which is why his camp has been laser-focused on movement, counterpunching, and controlling the pace of the fight. His strategy is clear. Don't let Davis dictate the tempo, don't give him the psychological edge, and most importantly, don't become another name on Tank's highlight reel. At the center of Roach's camp is his father and trainer, Lamont Roach Showdown, a no-nonsense coach who has been instrumental in keeping his son mentally sharp and unshaken by outside noise. The elder Roach runs a disciplined training camp where distractions aren't tolerated. While social media debates the fight's outcome, Roach Jr. remains locked in, his focus unwavering. Every session is about refining the game plan, making sure he's ready for the most dangerous puncher in the division. Roach knows that Davis thrives when his opponents hesitate. Tank has a history of breaking fighters down mentally before punishing them physically, but Roach refuses to fall into that trap. His plan is to stay in Davis's face from the opening bell, to show no signs of fear or hesitation. If he can keep his composure and execute his strategy, he believes he has a real chance of turning the tables on Davis.
I'm not looking at Lamont the way that everybody else look at Lamont. Like, I know Lamont is a really good fighter. I'm not. This ain't no Frank Martin. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
It's a real good fight.
Davis, however, has been making headlines not just for his training but for his unpredictable behavior outside the ring. On Christmas Eve, the boxing world was thrown into chaos when Davis suddenly announced that his fight with Roach was canceled. No explanation, no follow-up, just a cryptic post that sent fans into a frenzy. Given Davis's history of impulsive social media moments, speculation ran wild. Was this another emotional outburst? Was there trouble behind the scenes? The silence from his team only fueled the uncertainty, leaving everyone questioning the fight's status.
Talk to me about the mental preparation going to this fight with Lamont. Fans, they kind of sleeping on Lamont, but you know Lamont's fighting style. Y'all fought in the past.
People don't know him, but Lamont is a good fighter. Like, he ain't no slouch. Like, I fought him in the amateurs. Like,
just as confusion was reaching its peak, Roach and his father stepped in to clear the air. They reassured fans that the fight was still on, keeping their focus on the matchup rather than the surrounding drama.
There's a rematch clause, people, so get ready for 2 fights. But, yes, and after I beat him the second time, I probably would ask the WBA to let me go up to 140 and fight Raya.
Roach, unfazed by the situation, addressed the rumors with his usual composure. During a YouTube Q&A, a fan directly asked him about the alleged cancellation. Roach, with a slight smile, responded, "Gervonta Davis is a wild card. You never know what he's gonna do next." He acknowledged that Tank's unpredictability is something he's had to learn to accept, but he made it clear that it wouldn't distract him from his goal.
Yeah, man, I mean, it's going to go. Tank going to be losing the first 3 rounds. Then he's going to download the data. Then he going to knock this dude out in round 7 or 8. Then he going to do the backflip. Then Jim Gray's going to get in the ring, or Caleb Plant's wife, and say, who do you want next? And Tank's going to say, I want all those guys. And they're going to go to the press conference.
Roach understands Davis better than most. He knows that Tank moves to the beat of his own drum, whether it's dropping cryptic social media posts, making sudden career decisions, or keeping fans and opponents guessing. But Roach isn't playing into the mind games. He's not worried about what Davis says online. He's focused on what happens in the ring. The mental side of boxing is just as important as the physical, Roach explained. I don't let that stuff affect me. His mindset is clear. Block out the distractions, stick to the plan, and execute when it matters most.
No one's been able to solve Tank Davis. What do you need to do together with you and your team and obviously your son to score that victory?
We got a game plan. We're going to execute it, and we're going to get the results.
Move that head, bob and weave.
While Roach is preparing for the biggest fight of his career, Davis is also deep in camp, sharpening his skills for yet another dominant performance. One thing that separates Tank from many fighters is his year-round conditioning. Unlike some competitors who pack on weight between fights and rely on drastic cuts, Davis stays close to his fighting weight, ensuring he's always in peak form. Fighters like Keyshawn Davis often bulk up and then cut down significantly before weigh-ins, but Tank takes a different approach, staying lean, strong, and ready to go at any moment.
It's gonna be a party on your floor.
I'm gonna let y'all know, son. His father was up here shaking on the what's his name? He was shaking on the.
Thank everybody that played a part in it. My team, Roberto Diaz, Gary Jonas.
On my kids, he was shaking on this thing. On my kids, he was shaking.
How you gonna say his cap? And it gotta be. You gonna say his cap?
With both fighters locked in and the fight officially set, the energy surrounding this matchup continues to build. For Davis, it's another chance to prove why he's one of the most feared punchers in the sport. For Roach, it's the opportunity of a lifetime, a chance to shock the world, to step out of the shadows, and to secure his place among the sport's elite. Davis remains one of the most naturally gifted lightweights in boxing. Unlike fighters who cut extreme weight to gain an advantage, Davis stays close to his natural fighting weight, ensuring he maintains his power, endurance, and explosiveness without relying on drastic last-minute cuts. However, a noticeable absence in his camp has sparked speculation. His longtime trainer, Calvin Ford, has been missing from recent training sessions, leading many to wonder if the two have parted ways. Ford has been a key figure in Davis's career for years, and his disappearance hasn't gone unnoticed by fans and insiders alike. Leonard Ellerb, a close associate of Davis, recently shared his perspective on the situation. During an appearance on The Laboratory with Plaza, Ellerb commented on Davis's recent statement about retiring after 3 more fights. "I understand where he's coming from," Ellerb said. "When you have kids, your whole life changes."
My whole family is from DC. My whole family, like my entire family.
Don't bring them. Don't bring them.
For what?
Don't bring them. I'm telling you.
They gonna celebrate with me. You hear me?
Don't bring them.
It's gonna be a party on your floor.
I'm gonna let y'all know something. His father was up here shaking on the what's the name? He was shaking on the
Pops.
On my kids, he was.
He pointed out how Davis's mindset has evolved over the years. 6 or 7 years ago, he saw things differently. If he says he's retiring, we've all heard it before, but no matter what you do, it's never enough for some people, and that can be frustrating. Ellerb also touched on the immense pressure elite fighters face. The constant demand for big fights, the high expectations from fans, and the relentless scrutiny can be overwhelming. There's more to life than boxing. Fans pay to see you fight, but at the end of the day, they don't always consider what happens to you afterward.
What? Who said that? You said what? You said what? Yeah, that's why I've been waiting for the niggas to talk. How much you want back? How much you want it back? Because I came up here alone. How much y'all want back? How much you want back? Just call it out. Huh? 100? That's a bet.
Even with retirement talk looming, the lightweight division is filled with hungry challengers looking to take Davis's spot. Fighters like Andy Cruz, Edwin De Los Santos, and Keyshawn Davis are all eager for their chance. These aren't easy fights, and Tank knows it. While he may be confident in his abilities, he also understands the physical and mental toll such high-level matchups require. At this stage in his career, Davis may not be willing to push himself through the grueling training and sacrifices needed to stay at the top. Ellerb acknowledged the brutal nature of boxing and how it impacts fighters long-term.
That who I fight, when they start talking, that's when y'all get them. I'm gonna beat his ass.
He can't do shit with.
For
I don't
real.
give a fuck.
So y'all better be quiet.
I don't give a fuck if y'all was quiet, if y'all was loud.
He got the whole hood over there.
Like, twisted up. I don't give a fuck about that.
Boxing is a tough sport, he said. Many past fighters were taken advantage of, suffered serious health issues, and dealt with lifelong consequences. I get the idea of making your mark and stepping away before it's too late. However, Ellerb hinted that Davis's retirement might not be final. Given his popularity and ability to generate massive paydays, it wouldn't be surprising if he returned for the right offer. If a major fight opportunity comes up in 6 to 12 months, I wouldn't be shocked if he came back, Ellerb said. All it takes is the right opponent and the right paycheck. Meanwhile, Lamont Roach Jr. is preparing to move up from 130 pounds, where he currently holds the WHBSA title, to challenge Davis at 135. Roach is confident he presents a tougher challenge than Frank Martin, whom Davis stopped in 8 rounds last June. "With all due respect, I'm not Frank Martin," Roach said in an interview with Cigar Talk. "Frank started boxing at 15, and he didn't have the experience to be in there with someone like Tank. I do. I've got the skill, the experience, the reflexes, the ability, and most importantly, the IQ to compete at his level." Roach has already shared the ring with Davis twice in the amateurs, losing both times by decision. However, he believes he has grown significantly since then and is now ready to challenge Davis on the biggest stage. With their fight set for March 1st, fans are eagerly awaiting what could be a defining moment for both fighters. Will Roach rise to the occasion and shock the world, or will Davis continue his reign as one of boxing's most dominant forces? For all the latest boxing news, highlights, and analysis, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Stay tuned for more.